Welcome to This Month in Arts Marketing. I am here with Mel and Megan, and we are going to talk about emails, strategies, when and how and what to include in your emails, and hopefully give you some great information. All right, let's talk about emails. I'm not sure if everybody knows that email is actually the highest conversion tool that you have in your pocket, and it doesn't cost you any money. So if you're not already doing emails on a regular basis with some type of strategy, that's something that you probably should implement sooner rather than later, especially in this ticket buying age that we're in right now. When do you think is the right time to start talking about upcoming events or specific to upcoming events? Like what timing do you think you should start emailing?
I think you need to look at your email plan in like a whole calendar year, whether you do it like on a regular calendar year or you want to do it on a season calendar year. Because it really starts with, when you make a season announcement, that's your first email and that introduces everybody to your season. And then when you as you start rolling show to show, I think starting 2 months ahead is a good idea. Just a couple of emails, 2 months ahead, and within that 2 month ahead point of just like with a call to action is a good place to start with it. Email's free for the most part. So, this is a tool that you have that you can use and you get a lot more control over too.
I also think that a lot of times people say, how much email is too much? What if I don't want to email my people all the time? Look at your calendar, because if development is sending an email and marketing is sending an email and they're both going out on the same day, then obviously that's somewhat of an issue. But you can send email more than you probably think you can. We typically do once or twice a week. One of the key things is the strategy for what you're sending out and why. Like, what is the primary thing that you're trying to get the people opening that email to take action on? And then is there a secondary one that you're trying to get them to take action on, or at least start laying groundwork for an upcoming email that's going to ask them to take
Yeah.
action?
I'm trying to pull up like my past softball knowledge. Is it on deck? Something main happening, and then there's something like a little bit after it
Yeah.
that's just like, this isn't the main messaging, but we do want to start to get this in front of people's eyeballs. And that can't go on forever. We don't want the longest emails in the world, but that also doesn't mean we want short, one item specific emails all the time. That is when it gets to be too much. And I do think people ask a lot of the times weekly, how many emails should we be sending out every week? And like how much within 1 week becomes overwhelming for people. 1 to 2 is like a good system to be on, but then there's always flexibility around things. If you have something exciting going on or something that's unique that you want to add into the messaging, just again, look at that overall calendar. How often have people heard from you recently? And find a way to work it in properly.
I even recommend, if you can pull it off, like a monthly newsletter. If you can do that, a monthly newsletter at the top of the month, and then you can hit a bunch of items. You can talk about your upcoming performances. You can, if you have any outreach programs, what's going on with that. You can highlight that you've been in the news. And it doesn't have to be real in-depth written content. I've always recommended send them to your website, have a headline, a blurb, and a link to the website. And then so it'll help with your website conversions too. And then your email is not super long. It's very mobile friendly that way. Most people are pulling that stuff up on their phones.
And you
What
probably have content that people didn't see. That's another thing, like repurposing your content from social media. Only 6% of the people that follow you on social media see your organic content. So more than likely they haven't saw it anyway. And we say this all the time, it's not about you, it's about them. If you are giving them good content that they enjoy receiving, then it doesn't matter, honestly, how much you send it. If you are enhancing their lives in some way, shape, or form with their content, then there is no too much. It's when you're sending like, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, donate now, buy tickets. It's not doing anything for them except asking them for something. That's when people start to unsubscribe and it becomes overwhelming.
emails are another form of content, even though they're not the media, photo, or video only, the way that we think about content for social media, but it's still a form of communication that they're getting, hopefully in collaboration with your social media posts and anything else you have going out, you want to make sure that it still follows the idea of it being entertaining, informational, emotionally connecting, inspirational, any of those things, because they want that before they're going to absorb I always call it the boring logistical information of like what it is that you're either selling them or asking them or that kind of thing. If you have something like a newsletter, try to avoid making it be like a static graphic that you use for every single newsletter. Utilize your content and still utilize that idea of inspiring, connecting, entertaining, even when you're introducing something that is repetitive, because if people see something that looks the exact same as all other emails they're getting, they're going to say, I've read this already. There's nothing new here. Like your eyes get blind to it and they're not going to scroll. Have them be recognizable, all of your emails, recognizable in some sort of branding, visual for your organization, but something on there is different to catch new attention every time.
There's oh my gosh, what's his name?
Seth Godin.
Seth Godin, yes. He says if they don't miss what you're sending them, like if you would send an email every day and then you stop sending an email, if nobody says to you, like, what happened to the emails? Like, why'd you stop? I missed your emails, then your content's not good. So, like, it has to be something that contributes to their life, which is not something that most people think about, like you said, in an email strategy.
It needs to have an entertaining value to it. You can have a call to action in there about, buy some tickets or make a donation, but the main part of your email should be entertaining. So if it's for a show, let's 5 fun facts, or here's a video, look for a behind the scenes look at how we've put together our staging or our costumes or something like that. And then it doesn't feel like a sales message. And because most people who get your emails are subscribers, they should get that kind of behind the scenes special content that the normal, casual everyday person might not see. Although, it can also be out there too. They just don't have to know. It's just how you message it.
All of your emails don't have to go to your entire list. Yeah. You should be segmenting your messaging. If you're not, that is how you can also communicate if you have multiple messages to go out and you don't want to overwhelm. Not everybody has to get everything, and you get to specialize your messaging to individual groups.
That should start before you even compose an email. So as soon as you get your lists organized, have some way of like indicating who they are. Most email systems have ways to like put people into groups or put tags on them, so that way you can pull that segment, you can create that segment. But if you're not using an email system, if you're still kind of living in spreadsheet land, put something in there, have their email address with a column next to it that is like they're a ticket buyer, and get more specific, they were a ticket buyer to, Swan Lake, like that, that way who they are when you're messaging to them. There's a little bit of homework that needs to be done before you start implementing any kind of email strategy.
But that's what makes it a strategy, is it's not just coming up with one messaging and throwing it out to everybody you know. It's strategizing. I'm going to say the word a million times. Who is going to get what information and for what purpose? And when you get into the depths of segmenting your audience, you get the chance to implement new ideas, where if you want to invite first-time ticket buyers back, you have that organized in your system, where now that weekend of shows has ended and you say, hey, here's a discount to come back and see our next show, and encourage just that group. So you're not worrying about that discount going out to everybody that's in existence.
When it's a mass public message, when it's, so whether it's about productions, it's about it's advertising to get people to sign up for classes, it's about people making donations, that should come from the marketing department. Marketing should be part of cultivating that, making sure the branding is there, making sure the list is there. Now, obviously, within other departments, they may send their own messages once they have their own little segmented lists of, a donor level, or certain, maybe it's just people wanting to take adult classes. That's one thing. But if you're doing a big public ask of some sort, that should come straight from marketing.
I agree. And that calls out again the having a almost like a master organizational calendar that shows when you are communicating with people, whether it's through advertising, whether it's through emails, whether it's through, the different social media components, or in person with different like cultivation events or whatever. It's very easy to get siloed in arts organizations because you're so busy and you're like thinking, I just need to worry about my stuff. It does remind me of the one time, like when the ballet company that I worked for sent like a postcard about an upcoming show, a subscription renewal, and a donation ask all in the same, like, I think it was a 2-day window. From a consumer standpoint, like getting all of this stuff at once, like what was my primary goal as an organization? Like, what do we want them to do first? And then if you're sending like subscription renewals, the donation asks should be in that subscription renewal to those people. And you need to know who they are and have a very specific call out for them. That I think was something that just kind of created a little bit of chaos and also makes it look like, as a patron, like, what are they doing over there? Why am I getting so many mixed messages all at once?
And I feel like part of it makes it look like options then too. If you receive multiple things, even if somebody outside of the administrative side of it all might not see it as chaos. They might just see it as, I got this, 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 and this. And if you have them all sitting in front of you, it's going to look like an option. Either right now I subscribe, or I buy a ticket to the next show, or I donate. And we want that messaging to hit them at just the right time where they end up feeling comfortable and encouraged and part of the community to do all three. We want them to come to the next show. We want them to subscribe for next season. We want them to donate. And so how do you message that to kind of encourage people to do all three?
You do have an event too. A know before you go. Email should be standard. And that again is a segmented list of like who are your event ticket holders, and make sure that they know exactly what to expect, how to get there. Here where we live, there's a theater that is inside a government building. People need to know that before they get there. It's also a really great chance to give them some behind the scenes moments, a chance, if you have an online version of your playbill, to send them to the playbill ahead. Like, we talk all the time about having a landing page for your event that is kind of your hub of your information for the event, and like driving people there so they can kind of go down the rabbit hole and learn all about the happenings. I think that's also something that should just be standard.
Yeah. And to bookend it, a thank you.
Yes.
Standard practice at the very minimum. Have your know before you go, and then have your thank you for those that attended ready to go.
With an ask for the next show at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe.
I'd almost like to have a nice thank you message without any kind of like a do this, do that. And it makes people feel more appreciated. Now, of course, a week later or so, send them that email for that upcoming production.
Yeah. I like it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or want us to address something else that you are wondering about from an email marketing standpoint, just drop it in the comments and we'll be happy to respond. Have a great day.